Okay. So how was
Okay,
that
so
answer?
I think we're good. Good. Wait, hold on. I'm having some technical issues here. Okay. So okay. So we're okay. So now let's
Yeah, and
now what
I
about
just hold on. I just add this on also because sometimes, like for example, if it threatens also our body, then abortion should be like like okay. Like for example, if it's a cause of our death or what, so you have the right decision that you can abort the baby or not. So proceed.
okay.
So that's it. I'm agreeing to that
Okay.
controversial
Now
question.
okay. Now what about some of these what about some of these conjugal ownership laws in the Philippines? Can you comment on that? What do you think about them? Anything that you would change? Talk about that a little bit, or a
Well,
lot if you want.
anyway, if you are partners, so well, yeah, you should be owner of whatever you own or whatever she owned, unless you have a prenup. So that's it. But if for me, if I have my husband, and then we either I work hard on what I have worked hard for, and I have a property or anything. So since we're together, of course it should be conjugal. What is it for
Mhm.
if you don't have trust? Right? So you either get divorced
Mhm.
or before you get married, you should be, you should know that okay, if you don't trust this person, don't marry the person or get a prenup. That's it. It's straightforward.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Noreen, based on your answers so far, I guess you are a modern Filipina or contemporary Filipina, and maybe your mother or some older Filipinas might listen to what you're saying and think that
Actually,
is
my mom will not
too
agree on what I'm gonna
untraditional.
say. Yeah, whatever my answers today, my mom will not agree on it. Actually,
Is that right? You think so?
yeah, quite conservative.
Mm-hmm.
I was being brought up with a Catholic, element of conservatism. Like I've been to Catholic school since I was grade 1 until college, but my perception on things are different. Probably, I don't know. Probably, I perceive things. I read books. So books is like I traveled somewhere and then I absorb some different parts of knowledge, which is actually I can distinguish that okay, this makes sense, than what is been traditional that installed to us. So that's why. And then I traveled, so probably that's add on. Yeah, and then the people I met, the people I've been to or I've been friends of, so that's really also add on to things. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, so I guess so pretend I'm a more conservative. What would you say? Pretend I'm a more conservative Filipino who disagrees with you. What would you say? What would you tell me,
what would I tell
if
you?
anything?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I just
Or would you?
respect your,
Or
yeah, I respect whatever your perception because that's how you believe. But of course I have my own belief. I cannot impose you what I believe. Okay? And you cannot impose me, to change what I believe, what I think of. So the only thing is, if we're friends, then we just probably take away those topics so at least we can be able to still enjoy our company, right? Yeah. So that's it. Because life is so short. We cannot, yeah, you don't know, especially right now, what's happening. So even having this agreement, it doesn't make sense. because you cannot go anywhere. So probably we'll find ways where we can agree on things, and that's it. And if not, then I have to move on and find those friends who I can, relate to. But I'll be nice to that person. So that's it.
Now, you mentioned earlier that well, you just said, first of all, you just said life is short, but you are also short, right?
Yeah, exactly. But we can be not short in bed. You can be the same height.
Hey, let's okay, remember, I don't want this video flagged by YouTube, okay?
You can cut it out.
Okay, so Noreen, now, what about, you mentioned earlier something very interesting, how some of these men, we were saying that some of these men, I forget specifically how, but I guess we were saying that men sometimes in the Philippines are not good husbands, as there are bad husbands in every country. But here, like some of the mothers of these bad men and the families of these bad men are on his side. So how is that for how difficult is that for a woman? Like maybe your husband is cheating or not contributing financially or maybe even physically abusive, but his whole family supports him, or rather is on his team, even though he's doing something wrong towards his wife. So what is a woman to do?
What does someone to do? Leave the bastard. That's all I can say. Yeah, I know. Women, see, the only thing that stops women is like they think that, oh, what other people tell, or what her family will tell her. These are the affectations she had in her mind. And then, of course, if there's kids, that's the worst thing. It's like, oh, how about my kids? Hey, your kids has their own life. If they grow up, they're just gonna leave you, kali wali, like something. Yeah, and you still end up by yourself. So why can't you just live a life like, okay, you can explain it to your kid, because your kids will see you suffering and unhappy. It's also not healthy for them. It's more healthier that you're gonna live a happy life. You can project it to your kids, you can project it to everyone, and of course they will just understand if you explain that, and they can see that anyway. So for me, it doesn't make sense to suffer because of what others people's telling you, or this, you have your children. Anyway, you love your children, show them your love, your support. That's all that matters, okay, at the end of the day. Okay? So that's it. But being unhappy and treated like shit, like why you allow yourself to do that for yourself? So it doesn't make sense. And women also really got scared because they don't have, proper motivation. Okay, people also they've been to are also conservative thinkers. These are the things that makes them, suffer more in a relationship. So yeah, like to hell, like my husband also, I tell him, okay, one, even like you have to like do this to me, okay? You just forget we're together. That's it. Because they can do it again. Yeah, luckily I'm the one who did that to him. He cannot do anything. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Andres. He's
You
a
are gonna
loving
get my
husband.
channel banned from YouTube, Noreen. You're gonna get my channel banned from YouTube.
Well, you invited me here. It's not my fault. You know how I think. Yeah, guys. Actually, Filipinas right now are changing also. They become stronger. And then because of the information and because they have a career, especially the ones with career, actually realize it much more faster. Like, okay, I have to leave this man, that's it. And I have to do something for myself, which is actually good. Okay, especially with the social media. So they have more information. for narcissistic men, for men who's treating bad to their wives. So they have already notions, okay, on how they're gonna be getting out of the relationship and stuff. And that's it. And they don't think anymore of what others are thinking, you know, unlike before. Yeah, so it's different. So at least society also accepted that. And that's quite, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. Let's see.
Yeah, and I think connected to this phenomenon, which also I talked about on minimalism, which you can go to my channel and watch that video also. We talked about, and I think it's related to what we're talking about now, is the trend, which is slowly coming into the Philippines, which is uh, I'm not moving out when I get married. I'm moving out when I'm 18 and my career is my focus, and I'm not going to get married so early and have kids so early. I'm going to maybe do that a little later. I think that's a little bit coming into the Philippines.
See that because you know why? It's been modernized now. And then there's a lot of things they can do. Like they can enjoy this particular sports, they can go to this one, they can travel. Before it's different. Like people are like, you know, like how can you say that? They've been blocked with information, they've been blocked with, oh, there's fun, you know, being single. So yeah, and they think that having a, you know, somebody is actually the answer to have fun with. I will be how can you say that? I will be accepted, you know. Like before, it's like when you don't have a boyfriend at this age, it's like a question mark. Oh, what's the matter with you? So ugly or what? Like, you know, yeah, those are the things, you know. But right now it's different. If you have a career and then you have fun in your life, like your family is actually happy. Like, oh, she's enjoying, he's enjoying his life, so it's okay. Yeah, and the trend is being independent, right? At the age of 18 or 20 or 21. Yeah, our neighbor, remember Jenny's sorry, the son of our neighbor, I still have to take, can you cut the name? Okay. He wants to be independent. So he said, Mom, I want to be independent and all. Well, they're rich. They have all the apartments there. So he said, okay, she said, like, okay, you live to the next door. There's still neighbors, but he's independent. He's independent, but it's a question mark. Because if he needs somebody to clean the house, he will ask his mom, okay, can you send a maid to clean my house? So that's like, oh my God, what an independence, you know? But independence means that you have to take care of everything, especially the bills. Like I got that, man, before when I was in Manila. So I really find my ways to pay my bill, to pay my rent, to pay my light, my electricity, my water. Because one time it got caught, like, you know, or I'm delayed to the rent payment. So that's how it's, how can you say that? That's how independence is. Okay, taking care of your own shit. But this one is a different independence. I was like, I don't know if he's lucky, but kinda. Okay, so yeah, because everything is modern now, so that's good. And then people also have careers, even they are at home, like they can work at home, right? Yeah, just like you can work at home. So this element is not before happening, but now it can be. So it's a different story. So people can earn in a lot of ways. They can be in the corporate world physically, or they can be on their desktop or at home and doing all this shit. So yeah. So yeah, they can earn money in different ways. They can also, you know, sell in TikToks and stuff. Yeah, I came to know about TikToks. Know about TikToks, Andres? It's a big thing.
I'm
You can
44
promote
years
this.
old. I'm 44 years old. I barely, as you know, I barely touch my Facebook, you know.
Yeah, but you have how
So
many accounts? 6, 7 accounts.
yeah, but as you know, I never update them. There's only one that I regularly update, and even then, not
Yeah, and
much.
you didn't
And
add me, so you should add me.
I didn't add you.
Yeah, you didn't add me.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
You
so you
know,
don't have plan. Okay.
but we also have to talk about class, socioeconomics, money. You know, there are some families without a lot of money, and they might tell their daughter, "No boyfriend, I forbid it," because they don't want her to get pregnant. And in the Philippines, and in other countries too, but in Philippines, you know, there are a lot of teenage pregnancies.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
You know,
So what do you think? Uh-huh, uh-huh.
okay, tell me.
So what do you think we should do here in the Philippines about teenage pregnancies?
For teenage pregnancies, okay. Basically, why don't they teach a proper sex education in school? Okay, that's the first thing they have to do. Because talking about sex here is like a taboo, like, like, oh, that shouldn't be, you shouldn't talk about it. Of course, your kids are gonna grow up, and the way they're teenagers, their hormones are shooting up, so they're gonna be super horny and super, aggressive. And how can you say that? They want to explore things. You cannot just like tell them, hey, I have to stop you there. Like, no, these are changes. Okay. The only thing is you have to inform them properly. Okay. What is this? And then be responsible. If they're gonna do it, they have to be responsible. See, number one here, they also don't want people to use contraceptives, which is also like, why? Why? It's all available everywhere, and you are stopping them to do that. Okay? This is what's happening. So it's stored in their head, okay, especially the men. Oh, to use condom is like I eat candy with a wrapper. Come on. Just buy a right condom and it feels the same when you put it in. Yeah. Right. So these are the things that we have to do because to minimize this kind of things happening. So that's it. They should be educated properly on sex and educated properly on how they should be responsible in every action they have to do if they're gonna do it. And also tell them about contraceptives. That's it. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong. The worst thing is that they're using contraceptives when they are married already because to stop children. Come on, be real. Use it before. Why not? But that's it. Probably I'll be banned in the Philippines. I talk too much.
Wow. You'll be done
Ah,
in the Philippines? What?
I'll be banned. They're gonna take off
Banned?
my passport. And then they're gonna throw me somewhere. Yeah, but that's how it is. That's a reality, Andres. And now more families become poor and poorer, because they are not ready to have children and they are not responsible to have kids. And they have a fuck up kids. When they grow up, they're gonna be fucked up because they're not having a proper
Hey,
care.
hey, hey, hey,
Not
hey, easy with the bad words. I don't want my channel to get flagged, okay?
okay. So that's it. These children will not be in a better state. Yeah, because of these things. And it's actually not their fault. I know somebody which is part of my family. Can you imagine that she got, like raped by an uncle or something, plus their border, like, all of this stuff. So she cannot even scream for help because she is, how can you say that? She's embarrassed. She's embarrassed of what's happening to her. Okay, the next thing we know is she got pregnant or something. So imagine that. So how that kid be responsible to bring up another kid? So that's come to my point. Why abortion should be legal, because of these things also happening. There are actually kids who are not ready to be mothers, and it's really hard because these are society and these are old thinking. So I wish it will change. The only thing is like it's also part of the government how they're gonna educate on these things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mhm. And the
Yeah,
church
I had
too.
a, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had I know this woman, and her brother has a daughter, and when the daughter was 14, I think, or
Mhm.
15, um,
Okay.
she had a boyfriend who she saw almost every day, and this girl, her father and mother were separated.
Okay.
Anyway, so the guy went to his sister and he said, "Can my daughter, your niece, is only 14 or 15, and she's got a boyfriend. She sees him every day. Can you please talk to her?" And
Mhm.
so she gave her, I guess in America, what we would call the big sister talk, or here in the Philippines, we would call the ate talk. She told her, "Listen, it's okay to have a boyfriend. You don't have to see him every day. And if you're serious about him, you have to, you, if you're going to sleep with him, you have to use condoms." She was just very direct about it. Um, yeah. So all these things we're talking about, we're talking about how poverty connects to or intersects. Everybody is saying that ad nauseum, but it's true. Intersects with sexism, and with teenage pregnancy, and with the conflict with tradition and modernity. Um,
Mhm.
so let me. So what should we do? What should we do, Noreen, in your opinion, uh, about men who who make babies and then leave?
Cut their balls.
You are going to get my YouTube channel banned.
Yeah, because they're so like, what is it? Are you a cat? After you do that and then you just leave the kittens, then I'd
I
rather
like that.
neuter
Are you
you.
a
You
cat?
might multiply more cats, you know? Yeah, that's how it is. Why can't, yeah, or have them vasectomize. Okay, this is a punishment. If you cannot take care, then we vasectomize you. That's it. Right? You can still have sex, but you cannot have babies. That's it. Punishment. Yeah, because that's also really, how can you say that? Well, for me also, like women should be responsible still with their body. So if a man doesn't wear a condom, I will not gonna do anything with you if we're not married, stuff. So that's it. It's also for the, if I am a woman, I am a girl, well, I'm a girl, I'm a woman, okay? I have to be also responsible in my decision. I will not allow him to do that unless if that person is ready also to do it and to have babies. Okay, or I am ready to have babies myself. So it should be both of you together, to raise kids. But if not, then what the hell? If you want to do it, then get condom, or get contraceptive. It's available anywhere. You just need to be informed how to use it. They might use it differently. So that's it. Yeah, because I cannot just blame the man about it unless if you've been forced to do it. But you can still have that decision. I cannot do it with you if you're not gonna put this on. That's it.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Let's
cannot just tell. Okay, go
mhm,
on.
mhm. Okay. Okay. So let's come to okay. So last question. The on our on this video on Americano update for International Women's Day 2022.
Okay.
Um, what what should we do about poverty in the Philippines, because there's a lot of poverty in the Philippines, and particularly women who are living in poverty. There are children living in poverty in the Philippines. There are men living in poverty in the Philippines. There are women living in poverty in the Philippines. What do we do about poverty in the Philippines and about women living in poverty in the Philippines?
Okay,
if
so
anything?
poverty is actually like a lot of people, like a lot of percentage of the public, or how can you say that, of the population are actually on that situation, right? Okay. Now the only thing is that, see, number one, okay, even you give education, that's why we have to also give this sex education thingy. It's a big thing though, because of course, like, especially the ones who are in poverty, they're the one who actually produce more babies because they don't have the right information. Okay, I have to be responsible. These are the things that I have to do. If I'm gonna do it, that's it. Because they have this macho image of not using contraceptives because it demonize what we call that one. It lessens their pleasures and what. These are all in the mind, misconception, and it's more on a masochistic or male chauvinistic whatever. Okay, now this one, and then number two. Well, this is actually what I noticed in all educational system. There's no financial literacy going on, or they are teaching kids how to manage,
Mm.
or how to make money, or
Mm.
how to really, to at least how money works, how can they spend it wisely. All of these things, they don't have proper information on that. And that's what I'm facing on when I'm doing this job, even in back outside the Philippines. I'm doing financial planning, financial advising and stuff. Okay, it's actually the culture system, and it's not installed in our learning system, in the educational system, on how to deal with money. Okay, they only deal with expenditures. Filipinos are very emotional, when it comes to money. So they want to lavishly spend it with their family, even though on a birthday, like their kid is only 1 year old, they have to really get a pig and spend on the pig and make it a lechon, and make a lavish birthday parties, which is not necessary. Hello, okay, and they are actually loaning it. Sometimes they're actually borrowing money just to have a birthday celebration for their kids. So there are things like, they have to be aware. Okay, these are the things. Number one, that I would like the government should be putting on the system. So sexual education, financial education, those are the things. This will be helpful to lessen the poverty. Okay? Because if the government will also say per family, you should have this much of kids only, right? Which is actually should be, because number one, if you have more kids, okay, it's more responsibility, and it's the government is going to provide it later on, who's going to suffer. So this is actually what's happening. So the only situation is, are they changing it, so there are financial institutions actually um, giving these learnings to people. Okay, but some of them are actually like doing it for the money, and then some of it are doing it because they want to help people, to be out in that situation. Okay, so these are the things that I can see that can be able to help and improve the country in terms of poverty situation. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and then, yeah, because especially like there are a lot of people, which when I came back, literally, like, Filipinos are self-entitled. Like, they will not stick to a certain job. They keep on jumping from one job to another because they feel not good in this job. So they have those things that they're doing that way. So it affects the financial thing on their family. So that's actually an added burden. So basically, yeah, that's all I can see. Unrest, which
Mm.
can be, yeah, you started from the very beginning, and then go
Yeah.
somewhere. It's the educational system.
Mm, yeah,
It's a government.
I won't name. Yeah, I won't name names, but I I know this couple, and they have money, and they can afford to do what they can afford to lavish upon their children, but that does not necessarily mean that they should. Their child turned, I forget how old, I want to say 5, but his birthday party was ridiculous. Like I went there and they had this big poster with his picture on it, and this
I don't
little
mind if they have
kid,
a lot of money, right? Yeah, but if they
right?
just have some money, so it's like, yeah, it's like sad.
Yeah, but this kid, he also he was clearly in his behavior, or at least my impression was that he
Okay.
was a spoiled little kid, you know, and I actually didn't like him, you know,
Okay.
uh, yeah, this little
Gonna
kid,
be
I'm like,
bad
man, I don't
now.
like that kid. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe now, yeah.
Yeah, they're
Anyway,
spoiling their kids, actually. Yeah.
yeah, maybe they are, maybe they are. I don't know, you know,
Yeah.
maybe they
Yeah, I
are.
see that here.
Yeah.
Like they have 3 maids, one house, 2 kids, 3 to 4 maids. Come on. Kick your kid's ass.
But
Stop sitting down. Wash the dishes. Yeah, learn it. You know. But the
totally,
others is, yeah,
totally.
the others telling like, oh, they can learn that in school too. They're doing it and learn it at home. Fire the other maids, let her do it. And you can tell her, you're the Cinderella. You're a princess, but you're Cinderella. So Cinderella, do the dishes, wash the clothes. That's
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, so Noreen, okay. So actually, this is the last question now. I know I said the last question was
Okay.
last question, but but this is the last question. Um,
If you have more
what do you
questions,
want to
just come
tell?
here.
There we go. There we go. I can walk
Okay.
there. I can walk. Full disclosure, where I live is close to 5S. That's not why I like 5S. I like 5S because no, yeah, you got that's a good restaurant. Best in Davao, best Indian food in Davao, best restaurant of
Thank you
any
for
food in
plugging
Davao.
us. Yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's true. Um, and by the way, that's a whole nother topic. Maybe you and I will do. We'll talk about
Okay,
how the
what's your question?
inconsistency. Okay, okay. Well, I was gonna say we can talk about another show, the inconsistency of customer service in the Philippines, but that's a different show. So, last question, Noreen, what would you tell young women of the world today?
Of the world or the
If you could,
Filipinos?
both.
Okay. What will I tell what? Your
What
question.
what advice, if any, or what advice, if any, would you give to young women of the world or in the Philippines? Or is there, now that we're coming to the end of this interview, there were some other people who were going to come, but they couldn't. So it turned into the Norin Toledo show. Um, what are
What
your
the hell? Yeah, I know. Where
what
the
are
hell
the
are they?
people things happen anyway. So what would you say to women, young women of the world and in the Philippines, or what are the what are the takeaways from this conversation that you and I just had?
Okay, so what I can tell them, the only thing I can tell them is like, even though you're a woman, it, that's actually an advantage. It's not a disadvantage. Don't look at it as disadvantage. There's a lot of ways you can. Okay, the only thing is you have to take care of yourself. Okay, very well. Okay, the only thing to take care of yourself, not only your body, but your mind. So you have to take care of that. That means you read books as much as you can have, and then you should be in the right. You have to pick up right friends. Okay, right. How can you say that? Right people who can actually you can learn and be motivated to do more. Okay, and don't stop. That's it. Okay? Even though you're single, okay, it's not the end of the world. It's better actually. Yeah, but that's it. You can be able to shine wherever you are. It's up to you. Okay? And nobody should stop you. Okay, and that's it. Taking care of yourself, be educated in a lot of ways. Okay, right now there's no excuse. There's internet. Okay, don't go to
Hmm.
yeah the channels where you get this wrong informations or no other, how can you say that? Other stuff like I cannot say anything. Okay? Useless, brainless stuff that has been shown. Yeah, and that's it. So what else can I
Okay.
say, Andres? Yeah.
Actually, we're due to another scheduling conflict. Um, we're gonna have to end it here. So thank you,
Okay.
Noreen. I'm gonna
Yeah,
close this
thank
tab
you. Yeah,
and
hold on. Let me
thank you
promote
so
you.
much.
Yeah, let me promote you first. Okay, thank you for
Promote
inviting
me.
me. Okay, my Americano
Okay.
friend. Okay, you better watch this channel. This channel is quite educational. Okay, and this guy, he has the heart for Filipinos. Okay, not only for Filipinas because he's married to one. Yeah, but he is a great guy that you can learn for. Okay, so Andres, hope to see you and hope to play Katan with you again so I can win more. Okay,
Wow.
bye.
Yeah, for reals. Okay, bye, Noreen. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.